educators doing? I am so honored to be a part of this and to be up here speaking to you and giving you my story because I know that a lot of you can probably relate. So I'll go ahead and get started. I have always been a dreamer. I was convinced at 5 years old that I would someday be a famous singing sensation or a Disney princess, because what girl doesn't want to be that? At 12, I just knew as an animal lover that I would be a veterinarian someday, even though science was not my strong subject in school. Even now, I have hopes of someday becoming a best-selling author. The day I decided that I wanted to pursue a career in education, however, well, that was the day that I stopped just dreaming, and I decided that I was going to make a difference in the world. My young mind instantly flooded with ideas about what an amazing teacher I would be and how much I was going to change the lives of the students I taught. I was convinced that I would not only teach my students the content, but life lessons and how to love learning as I always have. Walking across the stage to receive my college diploma was my first step towards making those dreams a reality. Unfortunately, once I actually stepped foot in my very first classroom, reality hit and the daydreams dissipated almost instantaneously. During my first year of teaching, these ideas and hopes were replaced with nightmares of testing, data, meetings, discipline, lack of work ethic among students, and countless other variables that slowly but effectively drained my passion for my job. And I'm sure many of you know what I'm talking about. The extra obligations outside of my classroom duties continued to pile up, and thus I was unable to focus on bettering my teaching, my craft. I felt like a failure, and I started believing that the test scores that my students received was the sole reflection of whether or not I was an effective educator. I felt beat down, underappreciated, and overworked. I panicked at the thought that maybe I had chosen the wrong profession. It wasn't that I didn't love my students. I was just overwhelmed at the reality of public education and the current teaching condition in this country. I was slowly losing the hope that had always been a part of who I am. It was not until I discovered AVID that my optimism and my love for education began reappearing. Halfway through my second year, I was asked by our site coordinator if I would be interested in being an AVID elective teacher. Although I had never heard of AVID, I was really interested and curious about it. I did not realize its power, however, until I attended Summer Institute in 2013. My outlook was forever changed. Summer Institute was an absolutely amazing experience, as it still is. I was exposed not only to wonderful strategies, concepts, and activities, but also the positive energy, the excitement, and the ways of thinking that the educators around us radiate. The SI experience really influenced me, and the attitude that I'd had when I first became a teacher finally was restored. I also gained the right tools to make those original dreams a reality. AVID is infectious and has changed my perspective completely. Since I started teaching the AVID elective, my ability to see the bigger picture has been restored. I dream again, and I have learned that encouraging my students to dream big, the way that I always have, is one of the most important parts of my job. AVID allowed me to remember to focus on who I am teaching, not just what. I transferred my energy to building relationships and trust with my students, and everything else fell into place. I still teach my English and AVID elective content, but AVID methods transformed my teaching style in every class, regardless of the subject. I not only tell my kids to use their dreams to set goals, but I actually teach them how to reach those goals. AVID provides them with tools that are invaluable, and they now know that where they have been in life will not determine where they will go. Let me give you a little insight to where they have been. I come from Southern Lee High School in the tiny town of Sanford in Lee County, North Carolina. A little over half of our student body qualifies for free and reduced lunch, and half is also made up of minority students. Many students came to Sanford from other countries and speak little to no English. Unfortunately, due to boredom and bad influences, there is a lot of drug and gang-related activities that our young people get involved in. I tell you this to also say that it is often difficult for teachers to make all students understand the importance of their education when many of them are facing life and death situations when they leave our care. That is one reason why AVID is transforming our school and our community, even if it is just a little at a time. True to AVID's roots, most of our AVID students will be first-generation college students. Many of them come from low-income families, and some of them are undocumented because their parents brought them here to give them a better life. I currently teach AVID students who have experienced physical and sexual abuse, drug and alcohol-dependent family members, gang violence, and even homelessness. A handful of my students have been told throughout their entire lives that they will never amount to anything, that they have no chance of bettering themselves and no chance of making it to college. For some of them, I was the first person to ever change that echoing voice in their heads from no you can't to yes you can. And if I can be a catalyst for change, thank you. And if I can be a catalyst for change, then any AVID educator can too, including all of you. My students have overcome so many obstacles in their short lives, more than any child should ever be forced to overcome. Yet, despite all of these reasons for them to disregard their education, AVID has given my students, as well as thousands of students around the country, a light at the end of their tunnel. They have a support system in place with their AVID family. They receive encouragement. They are shown how to utilize AVID strategies to become great students. And they are dreaming of and working towards a better future. They are going places and realizing that all of the voices that told them that they couldn't do not matter. The only voice that matters in regards to where they will go in their lives is their own. Our focus in the AVID cohort in my school is voice. We are using this essential question to guide everything that we study. How do you find your voice, and how do you inspire others to find theirs? Strategies like Socratic seminars, philosophical chairs, and four corners enable my students to find their voices and reassure them that their opinions do matter. Learning the basic curriculum is key, but teaching soft skills or hidden curriculum helps change the way a student sees him or herself, and that is the ultimate dream of an effective educator. My current AVID students have come so far. They have gained so much confidence, and they're doing things that they never thought that they could. They are taking more rigorous courses, joining extracurricular clubs and activities they had never even given thought to before, and they're volunteering their time and efforts outside of school. They are not only dreaming about college, but they're researching, and they're getting excited because they now know that they can and will go if they stay focused and work hard. It is truly inspirational to see because they have finally found their voices and they are speaking loudly for all to hear. Now, my dream is bigger. I hope to utilize the AVID system and mindset to transform schools, to transform the lives of our students, and ultimately to transform the communities in which our students live. AVID is not just a program for underprivileged kids who will be the first in their families to attend college. AVID is a revolution within our current public education system. AVID is the tool that will enable educators around the world to remold how students view their education and, most importantly, themselves. Thank you.